There are lots of reasons to form a corporation. It might be for asset protection, for privacy, as part of your estate plan, as part of a way to protect and preserve the assets you've accumulated over the years, or to operate a business or investment company. Hi, I'm attorney Michael Potter, and I've been practicing in the area of business law for many years. I've seen a lot of corporations. I've seen a lot of company clients who have learned the lessons on how to make this work for you. And in today's walkthrough, I'm going to show you how to put it to work. You know, it's no wonder that so many people have used the corporation as a viable way to do business. It's tax efficient, it protects you from liability, and used properly, it can also enable you to grow your estate, maintain your privacy, and protect assets possibly for generations. Regardless of whether you use your corporation as a C corporation, the way they are all born, or you choose to elect S corporation status, you should take advantage of the tax laws that allow you to do a lot of planning for your future. Now, depending upon the type of corporation that you choose to work with, you can take advantage of some of the benefits and perks that go along with corporate life. A company car, company paid business trips, health insurance, life insurance, retirement planning, cafeteria plans, wellness plans. There's so many that you can do. Education plans. And there's a lot that you can use the corporation for if you use it the right way and you document properly everything you're trying to do with the corporation. Now, more than likely, you're watching this video because of the fact that my law firm established your corporation through our registered agent arm. And if that's the case, you have a binder with you that has a left side and a right side. The left side has a pocket that contains a number of time-sensitive materials. And on the very top, you'll see a document that says, read this first. So guess what I want you to do? I want you to read that first. And on the right side are a number of corporate documents that we'll be going through in this walkthrough. Officers and directors. Now, every corporation has officers and directors. In the state of Nevada, you can have one person wear all those hats if you like. You can have more than one. If you're working with a partner or a family member, that's fine. One of you can be the president, the other one can be the treasurer and director and that sort of thing. But make a choice and fill in the list of officers and directors. And then one of you needs to sign it at the bottom and date it and return it to us. After that, you're going to see another document that will have IRS on the front of it. It'll say SS4 Application for Employer Identification Number. Take a look at that, will you? It's a corporate version of your personal Social Security number. And it is a way for you to use that number for your bank accounts and your tax returns. Okay. So now you're on irs.gov. I want you to scroll over with your cursor to that section that says Tools, Tools, Tools. If you'll look down just below that, you'll see a link that says Apply online for EIN number. Go ahead and click on that link. What you're going to find now is that you get a tutorial from the IRS. It actually asks you a series of questions about when and where your corporation was formed and so forth. So to find the date of incorporation, you'll need to refer over to the right-hand side of your binder behind the first tab. And behind that first tab, you'll see your corporate charter and your articles of incorporation. They both have the same date, and that's the date that your company was formed. You're going to need that date when you apply online for your EIN. Okay, so you're online, you're applying for your EIN in the Internal Revenue Service website, irs.gov. You've looked under Tools on the front page of their website, you've scrolled down and you've clicked on Apply Online for EIN, and now you are in the tutorial. It's going to ask you for things like the company name and the responsible party. You are the responsible party, so put your name in there. It's going to ask you what address to use, and I want you to use the address probably at your residence or at your office from where you operate. That operating address is what they're looking for so that they can contact you by mail if they need to. Down later on, it's going to ask you about the type of business that you're in, and you can click on the right choice. And then further on, it's going to ask you what state you were incorporated in. So if my office formed it for you, it's probably the state of Nevada. Go ahead and list Nevada on there. Again, the address you will use will be your mailing address from where you operate. All right? And then go on down through the rest of the form, answering the questions as they come up, and they do it in tutorial fashion. It's really very easy. And when you get to the end, you'll see that it identifies on the screen your EIN. Be sure and write that down because this is the only time you'll see it. Write that down on your SS4 form at the top right where there's a block for that. Once you write that down, now you've got the number. You're going to use that number in two ways. Number one, you're going to use it to open your corporate bank account. And number two, you're going to use it every time you have to file your corporate tax return. Now, you're also going to have another IRS form in the back of that left-hand side pocket, and that is going to be the place where you apply for Subchapter S corporate status. It's the 8832 form. When you look at that, you'll see on there that you can check a box or make a choice, an election to become a Subchapter S corporation. Now, this form you don't do online. You're going to actually have to mail this in to the Internal Revenue Service because they don't know that you want to be an S corporation unless they get this form. So fill out that part of the form that lets them know you want to be an S corporation, flip it over, and where appropriate, either you or another corporate officer needs to sign it, and then you need to mail it in. Now, before you mail it, it would make sense to keep a copy for your file just in case the IRS says, oh, we never got that form. So fill it out, make a copy for yourself after you sign it, put one copy in your file, and send them the original. When they get that, that's how they know that you wish to be a Subchapter S corporation if that's what you're electing. Now, there are a few other forms on the left-hand side, some of which are optional. And I'd like you to call into the office. The number is provided there for you. I'd like you to call into the office if you have any questions on how to fill out any of the forms on the left-hand side, including mail forwarding and that sort of thing. Just let us know. Any member of the staff will be glad to help you. Now let's turn our attention to the right-hand side of your corporate binder. That's where your corporate documents are. On the right-hand side, what you'll see on the very top is probably your table of contents that identifies what each of the tabs are. Right below, in the first tab, you're going to see your corporate charter and your articles of incorporation. That's the birth certificate, if you will, of the day your company was born. Now, the next tab down is going to be your corporate bylaws. This is effectively the constitution of your corporation. It specifies all the details of how your corporation can be operated. It specifies that once a year, the shareholders need to have an annual shareholders meeting, and they will do that to receive the financial report from the board of directors and to elect any new members of the board of directors if there are any vacancies. They also may approve certain items that require shareholder approval. The bylaws also contain the directive that your board of directors have meetings. Now, at a minimum, you need to meet as a board of directors at least once a year. It can either be in your home office or in some other enjoyable location on a business trip. When your board of directors meets, there's a variety of ways it can do it. It can meet by telephone, it can meet in person, or it can meet by video conference, such as on Skype, for example. The board of directors meetings do need to be documented, and we provide a first meeting list of minutes and resolutions in one of the tabs that you can use to get started. Now, as you scroll through the minutes and resolutions that we've provided for your first meeting, it gives you an idea of how this works. You know, resolutions are how a corporation speaks. When a corporation makes a decision, it needs to speak and resolve to do that which it intends to do. And your resolutions and minutes of meetings are how you do that. If you are ever audited by the Internal Revenue Service, one of the first things they're going to do is they're going to ask for your corporate record book, which you hold in your hands. They're going to open it up and see if you have kept up with your corporate formalities. Have you filed your annual statement of officers and directors? Have you filed your annual tax return for the corporation? Have you filed your minutes and resolutions for your corporate record book? Those are all important, and that's part of how you stay in compliance by documenting the decisions of the board of directors. Now, your board of directors actually makes all of the primary decisions for the companies, the big policy decisions, and they rely upon officers, the president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, etc. They rely upon the officers to carry out those policies. And the officers are, in fact, the arms and legs of the corporation. The company, as it grows, it might hire other employees who are not officers. But by and large, especially in the beginning, your officers are the arms and legs, and they carry out the policy of the board and take part in the management of the company. Now, a little bit further back on the right-hand side of your binder, behind one of the tabs, you're going to see the register, the corporate register. It looks a lot like a check register that you have in your checkbook. That is where you're going to list alphabetically the names of the shareholders and when they became a shareholder and what they contributed to the company to become a shareholder. Then behind the next tab, you'll see the actual share certificates themselves. They are, in fact, stock certificates. the owners of the company, called stockholders or shareholders, will be issued those shares to reflect their ownership in the company. And you can issue all of the shares or you can issue a portion of the shares. That's your call when you have your board of directors meeting. Next, what you're going to do is issue the shares. You're going to fill out the name of the shareholder, and the president and or secretary of the company will sign on behalf of the company, and they will affix the corporate stamp which comes inside your binder. That corporate stamp makes it official that this is an original of a corporate stock certificate. And that stock certificate then reflects and designates the percentage of ownership that that particular shareholder has. If in some future time that shareholder turns in their shares or surrenders them to the corporation or transfers the stock to another person, you can see on the back where they will endorse the back of the shareholder certificate, kind of like you would with a check. So the share certificates, once they're issued, they could be given to the owner, but by and large, it might be more prudent to keep them inside of your corporate binder where you know where they are and they are kept safe. It's up to the corporate secretary to provide safety for that corporation binder. Now, a little further back on the right-hand side in the corporate documents, you're going to see another tab, possibly called miscellaneous, and in there might be an employment agreement, for example, for your president. Or you will have to draft, as time goes by, other documents like contracts. I would say that's the best place to put them. Instead of sticking them in a file cabinet someplace, go ahead and 3-hole punch them and put your contracts in there. As the years go by, you'll have your corporate essential records all in one place. Well, there you have it. This is the walkthrough of your corporation. We've looked at the left-hand side, which has the time-sensitive documents you need to pay immediate attention to. And we've looked at the right-hand side, which has the corporate documents such as your corporate charter, your articles of incorporation, your bylaws, your stock certificate, and so forth. If you have any questions at all, we're here to help you. Please feel free to get in touch with the staff, and we'll be glad to answer your questions. I'm Attorney Michael Potter, and I look forward to hearing from you.